don't know what made me think after that drive yesterday that having coffee in the car would be a good idea this morning. But I think that there should be like a sport where you just have like a full cup of coffee and it's a race over like terrain like this, and who can get to the finish line. I don't know how you would calculate like quickest, but with also most coffee left in their cup.
How do you think you would perform?
Terribly. Absolutely terribly. So originally our plan was to just go camp up and around the Mount Shasta area. I went on Reddit actually and was looking up what people recommended for like some boondocking spots up in Mount Shasta, and someone had recommended and given coordinates for a spot down a logging road or a forestry road on the northwest side of the mountain. As we got further north, we thought it was like, wow, it's getting foggier. And this is our ignorance being new to the area. It eventually clicked. I think we were like, this might be smoke. It's not just fog. It took us longer than it should have. Camille, while I was driving, had looked on the app Watch Duty, which is a
super helpful
If
app.
you're out in this area, download it. Anyway, we literally see that we are driving through what is like a ton of fires on this map. On this entire trip, we really started realizing like the severity of these fires. Even since we've been out here, we've dealt with like a fire that was like 2 evacuation zones away from us. And being in like a national forest where one fire took out 900,000 acres.
Yeah.
Long story short, once we got on the app and realized that there were a bunch of fires, we also got to the spot and realized that that entire area had been burned down as well.
I mean, you could still smell, I mean, the roads we were driving on were pretty much just like ash. It was pretty eerie, and like you've got that red sun that's sitting in the smoke, and we didn't know where we were heading because at that point we had lost service.
And we took it all cautiously, but it all worked out. We spent like the next 2 hours at least just driving like deep. From what we experienced, is all forestry roads. Some of them, if you're in that area, look for Military Pass Road. That one is a pretty well maintained. If you get off of those, you don't know what you're gonna find yourself on. It was an interesting trip. It's not where we expected to end up, but it worked out perfect.
It led us to explore so much more ground, cover so much more ground, and every single morning we've just woken up and been like, all right, let's start driving. Just total spontaneity.
We're on the side of the road, whipping up some
Banana pancakes.
We left the base of Mount Shasta this morning, and then we went to Bernie Falls. Really cool waterfalls, but if you take a dog, you can only go just to the overlook. You can't take the full hike down, which is totally still worth it. But I made that quick stop, and now we're gonna go try to find our next camp spot for the next 2 nights somewhere in Lassen National Forest National Park. Where we stopped, there was like a nice creek back there, but time for some delicious pancakes.
This handy dandy 3 storage drawer. It's become our kitchen essentially, which has been so helpful. On the top is our cabinet with our cookware, glasses, foil, utensils, etc. Second one is miscellaneous. So we have our toiletries, dishwashing stuff, dog food, treats, bug spray, citronella candle, lint if we were gonna make a fire, but paper towels, miscellaneous. The best part is the pantry. This is all of our dry food that we're using on this trip. These rice packets are amazing because you don't have to boil out the water, because I didn't bring any measuring cups or anything. All the good stuff, really. And then our propane stove, we just tuck right back in here. And then this is our fridge. So I kind of put everything in a bag, as the ice melts. and it's just easier to find everything. But this is our fridge. This place that we're in.
Should we address where we're at?
So, how did we find this place? Well, we went to the Lassen National Park and National Forest, and it was just a little bit too populated, even
Developed.
yeah, and developed. We like to be in the middle of nowhere. So we were driving, we're not really sure where we were driving, some forest road, and then there was an unmarked road which led us up to this path, and there's these crazy old army shipping and storage containers that like are everywhere. There's like over half a dozen of them, and it says manufacture date. I'm assuming that's what that means. 866? I mean, August 1966. Is that correct? I don't know. And then there's this giant thing.
And there's like a lot of these. There's maybe 3 or 4 over there. There's some scattered up the hill.
We don't know if they fell from the sky or if they were placed here or what. It looks like a mighty fine fire pit, but we're not going to mess with military property.
Most of the forest road up here was pretty well traveled, you could tell, but this turnoff specifically, it wasn't marked on the GPS like most of the forest roads are. We didn't see it as a pull-off. It definitely looked less traveled, so we figured it was going to be pretty empty, but wasn't expecting to have any type of like equipment like that up here. Yeah, I think this is still Lassen
National Forest. So, I mean, all of this you're allowed to camp in, which is crazy. But it's just weird to think how these things got here. Did they drop from the sky? Did someone
drive them up here?
Just crazy.
Very weird.
But this is our home for the night.
So we left our campsite that we were at last night, the one with the weird military capsule things, and made our way down the mountain. We're just off the road, making some chilaquiles.
Where is she? This is our last campsite, Tahoe National Forest.